Welcome to the To Be Named podcast, everybody. This is a joint project between the Super Banana Bros and Inertia Global. I am the ghost named Greg, or just Greg, whatever you prefer. And with me, as always, my man JT, MK4 champion. Because you got to make sure you have the 4 in there.
Call me the Knight Rider.
The Knight Rider. Ooh, look at him. He's getting new. He's getting new.
I'm
new
nicknames.
nicknames.
I get nicknames every day here. But anyway,
Together. Go ahead.
And together we talk. Hold on. Let me get some coffee for this because I got to get my wake up juice. Took a little power nap before this because I've been going since 7 a.m. this morning. You know. But that's neither here nor there, Greg, because we're talking about video games and pro wrestling and other such pops. Whoa.
Bang, bang. Ooh, man.
That just doesn't just excite you for what's going on, Greg. This is episode what, Greg?
This is episode 7.
7.
Yes.
Someone should write that down.
I actually did write that down.
Okay, let me write that down in my book that says show notes. 7. Today's date is also it's July 16th, 2020.
Bang, bang, chicken wing.
And, you got to get that kind of stuff out of the way because it's important that we document all the important things said on this show. Because this week we're going to discuss some small amount of video games, not much going on in the world, but, I got some things to say, of course. And then we're going to get into quite possibly what I want to say, the best episode of AEW Dynamite, maybe since the beginning. So, Greg, anything else before we get started?
Also, remember to wear those headphones to maximize the Too Sweet 3D technology audio TM.
Maximize.
Max out.
You know what I mean? What do you got as far as video games go? I have a few things. Boy, I got some stories. I could kill an hour on video games though this week because I got a lot.
Earlier, I was reading today that Xbox is going to be releasing a statement, I believe, on July 26th. They are not talking about their console at all. They're strictly just talking games. So for all those Xbox fans who want to hear like what Xbox is going to do to make themselves better than PlayStation, which they can't, let's be quite frank. Instead of talking about their console, they're going to be talking about only games.
I wonder where they stole that from because their whole thing has been total entertainment package since day one. That's been like the Xbox thing for the past 7 years. And now all of a sudden it's about the games. That's why, because you got your fucking teeth stomped in. Good thing Bill Gates keeps pumping out those copies of Windows to fund this failed experiment I call the Microsoft Xbox. Mm-hmm. It's lost its way, folks. Best thing they could do is reintroduce the Xbox 360 and put it back out and offer 1,000 gig hard drive on that thing and say, hey, here, it's the best we've ever done. We've peaked.
Yes, they have.
Ouch.
The only thing positive about the Xbox controller is I even talked about when we talked about the PS5 is the triggers. That's the only thing I like about the Xbox.
The thing that Xbox One controller is perfectly fine. I love it. At the first, the shoulder pads are a little stiff. A lot of people were having problems with those when it first came out. But just change your grip a little. It's not, out of the major things that could be wrong. But I'm excited that I heard this week that Microsoft announced Fable 4.
Yes.
And I don't know about you. I'm a huge Fable guy because I love RPGs. And don't get me wrong, I love stats and experience points and figures and grinding. But I like Fable because it took a chance with all that shit and it did something different. And we can all agree that whether Fable ever lived up to the hype that was surrounded it by Peter Molyneux is the correct pronunciation for the creator. Molyneux. And you know what? So I'm excited. I'm going to tell you right now, Fable 4 comes out. I'm going to have to buy a damn Xbox X Series 9er. I don't know what the new – I don't even know what the new system is. But I'm going to have to get
X Series.
X Series, whatever. I'm going to have to pick one up because I'm going to need to get that Fable 4. What else you got?
Well, I'm going to give you my thoughts on Fable 4. First off, there's one person that I've seen over the interwebs that was super excited. It was my good friend Brandon Moran.
That's where I saw
Brandon
it. Maybe him.
He did say that there is a developer who rated the original Fable games that's apparently not helping or producing this one. So I'm a little indifferent about that, to be honest. But I never had a chance to really play them. I actually bought an Xbox 360. I think that is one of the games on my list to buy is Fable because I want to see what all the hype was. Because my brother Lennox even said that like it changed his whole mindset of video games right after that. So a good RPG is nothing I can't really shy away from whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it was just the expectations at the time on what Fable 1 was going to be and when it was pitched to us. Well, and I think our minds blew it up, but I think there was a little embellishment from Peter Molyneux. And if he is not involved, if Lionhead's not involved, or maybe Microsoft bought Lionhead and Molyneux left, I don't know. But either way, I like a vision and somebody that stands next to their vision, whether live or die. I mean, I understand the game. It wasn't Skyrim or Morrowind. It was a nice. It was a more linear type adventure with a lot of freedom within its confines, and what a lovely world to visit and satisfying. And I feel the same way about. I think the series peaked with 2. There a lot I would like. A lot I liked in 3. A lot I would keep on the table from 3, though.
Would you consider it like if I'm losing this Pinamania guy?
Yeah.
Is it kind of like Kojima Productions without Kojima? Well, not Kojima Production. Make Konami without Kojima.
Well, I don't know.
Because
I think one of the okay, I'll tell you the difference between Molyneux, and this is a great question, really, and Hideo Kojima is that Hideo Kojima, I think he knows what his shit's about. He is the mastermind behind all of it, and he's going to tell you the truth about it and try and it's not coming from a hype. It's like he wants you to experience the story. The problem is that Hideo, not everybody knows what the fuck you're talking about, buddy. You're losing people in the dirt. You throw out this fucking the idea alone of Death Stranding makes people's minds go boom, and then you go and congratulations, you're a postman in this sweet world I made, and we go, well, we'll try, okay, and that's what everybody did. They went, well, we'll give it a whirl, like it or love it. But here's the thing, Peter Molyneux. I don't know how I think he's a jazz man. He reminds me a lot of me. We pick out 2 or 3 key things, and we're the salesman of the project. We're gonna be, if you can talk to your horse in my video game, I'm jamming it down your throat. And I think that's Peter Molyneux's fault to a degree. Is just he oversold games, and I don't think the technology existed at the time to do what he wanted to do. He pitched Skyrim and gave us something closer. Oh boy, I guess I would say it almost created a new genre. More just a smaller experience, but very rich.
If you think about it, it's also one of those games that kind of like was at the time like different. There's not other games that you're playing unless you're playing World of Warcraft or Diablo. I don't see another game sort of like Fable, really.
It was the tipping point fad at the time of the morality system. Everything was big. I remember that really hitting a long time ago. The Gold Box series on the PCs of the Dungeons and Dragons and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons collections, they had alignments in games, and your characters could have alignments, and they couldn't get along. You could be evil. And that was kind of rested in regular, home console gaming. That never got into detail. But I remember Knights of the Old Republic for Xbox was one of the first games where like good and evil, holy shit. And then what Fable promised us was like, be the saintly knight or the terrible devil, even with the horns in its original promo. And everyone thought that was a cool concept.
Well, what wasn't the Jedi or the Star Wars? Knights of the Old Republic? Wasn't that just for PC though?
No, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 came out for the original Xbox, reported to the PCs, and then I believe they're on everything now: Steam, Mac.
Because Mac OS, you got to think about it beforehand. Wasn't Fable an original Xbox game, or wasn't it?
Yeah, Fable 1 is on the original Xbox.
So
Fable 2 was 360.
Yeah, so
And
I'm just
Fable
I'm
2
just
was
trying
a
to get
little
my
closer to Molyneux's vision, I would say, or what he pitched, just because the system could handle it, I think.
I'm just trying to get my my ducks in a row here because I'm almost positive. I'm trying to think what came first between Knights of the Republic or that because that was the only time like literally Fable's the only one I remember being advertised as a kid and like wow that's great but I don't have an Xbox. But
Fable
then
was
you could be
03.
that you could be
Fable
good
was
or evil.
it was Knights of the Old Republic like 02 or 03.
Okay.
Fable and then Knights of the Old Republic 2 came out after Fable 1. And
Because the
that
only thing
was like a
I can only
three
remember
punch RPG to my face that I love.
well, I just remembered it being like the first like advertised good or evil game that you can choose to be good or evil. Like
Yes.
I think that was my mindset going into it as like a console gamer. You're like, oh, this is pretty neat. And
Yeah.
also, if you think about it, that game, also inspired games like Infamous, Shadows of Mordor. Even though there's really not really much of a like negative thing you can really do, the game's like that though. So it's
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
cool.
Carving
And
your own path
so
became a
it's
very key thing.
Skyrim, Oblivion. Oh, and it is available on Steam for $35 as well. Fable
Anniversary. Is that also available for Mac or is it just Windows on Steam?
I think it's just Windows on Steam.
Okay.
Just Windows on Steam.
Maybe that's the life of us Mac guys. Not everything for us. That's why I'm a console guy. Mac computers, console gaming. To get back on some other things here, Vigor. Do you know anything about this game called Vigor?
I did see that you shared it, and as I'm watching this, I'm like, why do I want this? And then I watched it more, and I was like, no, I don't just want this. I have to have this.
Good Lord. So, I mean, I don't want to, I want to say that, wow, if you're looking for a cool little shooter, look into this. Let me know how it is. It's on the Switch right now. It will be free to play. But right now it is early access to the game for $20. I threw it in because I like to support anybody coming out there with cool new things. And this game has been around since 2018, 19.
Really?
I think it's not new. It's been on. I think it was on Xbox. And it's now just ported to the Switch. So it's either on Xbox or PC. But it's not going to blow your socks off. It's going to hurt your eyeballs when you look at it. It's not a 4K masterpiece. But I tell you what, I desperately need a looter shooter with my friends on my Switch. And I hope that since it's not made by Nintendo, it's a third party, that they use the actual the real chat system that like Fortnite uses and Overwatch uses on Switch, where you can just shout into your Switch or your headset and people can hear you. I don't have to I have to call your aunt in church with the app, and then she has to string the strings, and it's just a pain in the ass. But anyway, put that on everybody's radar because I'm thinking, it hits all the things for me: looter, shooter, building, drop in, drop out, co-op, PvP. Wow. Wow. I'm not expecting great things for it to be free, but hey, let's see.
Well, listen, anything that has anything to do with a World War II like theme, first I'm like, all right, what do I have to do?
Yes, and
I love World War II theme.
Yeah. So we're like, you're in almost a war-torn / apocalyptic type world. It's like stuck in the World War II era. So I don't know, man. Fans of Fallout, I don't know. I mean, check this. It's called Vigor, and it's coming to the Switch. Check it out.
I'm excited.
The $69.99 2K controversy, Greg, that everybody's saying. Who broke that? I think I broke that on my birthday 2 weeks ago.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, my friend. And I said that it doesn't matter to me because either way, I'm buying the Legends Edition.
Yeah, you're going to buy the Super Duper Deluxe $500 one. So, but here's what we got right now. We have a week later, Angry Joe broke this story on his news channel. A week after that, Pat Contry put it on the CU podcast. So we're leagues ahead of the others with what we're doing out there and the way we're finding information. And it's working, and all it's going to take is the yahoos out there to start listening to us, buddy. It's just me, you, and those 3 people right now to listen, but we're taking them with us. And hey, you know what? Destiny 2 just got harder this week.
I was witnessing Chad play this earlier today. You know what? I realized we didn't have a Chad Whitlatch shout out the last 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure
we did. But we always bring him up. But
we're bringing in Chad now, and I was watching him play Destiny 2 today. Looks really good. I don't think I want to play on PlayStation, but I was considering buying it for my PC to try it out on PC.
We put our old clan back together under the banner of PVGA on PS4.
I noticed that.
We're looking to, is it kick bubblegum and chew ass? That's what we're going to do.
You're gonna.
We're here to eat ass. Yeah. You know what I mean? And do what we do. I've been playing for the last week. We've been having a blast at Destiny 2 again. So much cool stuff, chasing the light again. Destiny to me is a game that, I like to pick up, play, and I finally found its spot in my life. I would hate it. It was like a scorned old ex-girlfriend. Would have such vicious breakups and never speak, and then reunite, like high school again with Destiny 2. But that's what Destiny 2 is, and that's where I'm going to put Fallout 76 right now. It's just on my shelf. I really would want to go in and dig into the new content on Fallout, but I hate the way they did some of the party system. But you know what? Hey, it was the time to pick Destiny 2 back up, give it a run. I'll play it for a little bit, but I know come tomorrow, I'm playing Paper Mario with my nephew. I got him a copy, and literally I told him Nintendo sent him a copy, but they want him to make a review. So I'm going to make my 5-year-old nephew try to write a review for his first game, And it's getting delivered. I made it. It's crazy. So he's getting that, and I'm going to play, and I want to go through that with him, and pass on this passion I have to the next gen. You know what I mean? That's the most important thing people can do is pass it on to the next.
I would love to do it to my nephew. Sadly, he's obsessed with Xbox. So, yeah, it's hard to encourage someone.
I mean, I would just, if my nephew was an Xbox kid, I'd just not maybe talk to him ever again.
Well, he's like my little mini me, so I can't do that. But.
So that's all I wanted. Let me check my phone real quick because I take screenshots and snaps that I miss in my notes all week long. I'll just snap cool things that I see. Yeah, Vigor was the only thing I had saved in my phone.
Vigor is probably going to be out of everything you just mentioned, probably my favorite thing to play.
Yeah,
although I need to look more into that Ghost of Tsushima game that does come out Friday. Make sure you guys check it out. Actually, today it would come out today, wouldn't it?
Well, today's Thursday. Well, yeah. Ooh. Well, we record on Thursday, but people are hearing it today. So, yes, you're right.
So, technically, if you guys are listening to this podcast today,
if you're listening to it right now, just know I'm laughing and I'm giggle butting my way all across Paper Mario Land and feudal Japan. Mm-hmm. But I am kind of samurai out because of Neo 2. So, I'm going to probably put a little more into Paper Mario and save Ghosts for a week later.
I think I'm still going to wait on buying Ghost, though. I want to play it. I'm going to watch some people play it on Twitch just to see what it's like. Because if it's like Dark Souls, I'm not going to play it.
No, they said it's nothing like Dark Souls.
Okay, good. So then I'm definitely probably going to buy it because I didn't notice. Is Sucker Punch making that game?
Yes.
So it's going to be good because we haven't seen Infamous in a minute.
Sucker Punch bookended this whole generation with the fucking fantastic First Son. Mm-hmm. All right.
So good.
That came like near release, man. That was the first big PS4 title I remember waiting for. Phenomenal. Showed us how gaming in this generation was going to be. Set the standards. Using the reflection on the ground to know where you're at in the world, and the neon lights blew my mind. And now they're going to close this generation out with this Ghosts game. And forgive us that I will say Tsushima, Tanishmishma, different every single time. This isn't IGN. If you want real shit, go there then. But
I swear,
I just think it's incredible just to look at what they're doing with how the wind will tell you where to go for your next quest. Like mind blowing shit, and
it's going to be different.
I can't wait to delve in. But I want to get off of video games real quick before we get into wrestling. I want to talk about a movie, and I know we don't talk that often about movies, but I just saw one, and I'm a jaded filmmaker, Greg, so I hate every fucking thing, buddy. You understand me? Look into these beaten, jaded eyes. All right, everybody. So it has to be really. And here's the thing: I'm not a heavy critic with movies. I believe that every movie is a masterpiece, and that's probably why I'm no good at it. All right, but I watched The Hunt, and if you want to think the most dangerous game, hunting humans, kind of a story. But this is a movie that all-star cast. Betty Gilpin, who the tie back to our show is Betty Gilpin plays the main lead, one of the main lead characters in Glow. She plays the Miss America, type pageant, Lady Liberty. So she plays the main face in the Glow show of their wrestling show. And beautiful woman, incredible body, and her acting has never really been tested. She plays, she does a great job, and but I saw her in this, and her acting is incredible. The story as it unfolds is one of those movies that keeps you on your toes, Greg. It makes you think and guess, and then when you figure shit out, you're going, no one's ever done that before. Like when it comes out at the end, the truth of everything, because there's a point where you go, I got it all. I got this movie figured out, and it lets you do that. It wants you to do that, and in the end, it pulls the carpet one more time, and you're like, wow. So I can't say enough. I know that Hilary Swank's in it. She plays the main bad guy and puts on a hell of a performance. Ike Barinholtz is in it. And I don't really want to talk about anybody else's performances, but they're pretty cool. I think what's Julia Roberts' daughter? Emma Roberts. I think she's in it.
I'm not good with actors and actresses.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what. Next night you're having a lonely Greg night at home. No girlfriends, no friends around, no guys to hang out with. Go down to your local Red Box. You probably got a DVD player down there under some clothes, don't you?
Well, I got a PlayStation 4.
I
got a Blu-ray collection. Don't you
I'm going to tell you to do yourself a favor and rent The Hunt. Now, I, of course, only go digital with my movies, and I watch 4K HDR10 and with Dolby Atmos on my setup. I won't watch anything else. Anything less than 4K HDR10 burns my eyeballs, to tell you the truth. But anyway, get yourself this thing, do what you got to do, and check it out. I promise you, I've made the statement when it was over. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I have elevated it to that list. I've watched it twice so far, and I freaking love it.
I'll never love a movie as much as I love The Godfather.
You've said. But Greg, tell me about your Italian heritage, maybe.
My Italian heritage.
Well, let's talk about your obsession. Let's talk about this obsession, and I'm going to call it
obsession with the Italian mob.
Because it is an obsession. The Las Cosa Nostra is something I know a little bit about.
Because I can even tell you, like my obsession with the Italian mob did start by watching, I think, The Godfather. I remember watching it as a kid. No, I didn't watch. You know what? I didn't start watching The Sopranos until quarantine. When quarantine hit, that's when I watched The Sopranos.
Oh my goodness, I've watched it maybe 12 times, the whole damn thing.
But I've watched The Godfather so many times. I think it was just like being a guy who was born in 1991, watching a movie from the 1970s, 1980s, and like the fact that it is still my favorite movie to this day. And it's just how powerful. Like Marlon Brando is one of my favorite actors. That's the only movie I've ever seen him in. And then you got my man Al Pacino, and I love Scarface. I don't know what other movies the guy Sonny, who played Sonny Corleone in that movie. Tom
James Caan. James Caan played Sonny, and James Caan from. I tell you what, I love James Caan in Honeymoon in Vegas when he offers Nicolas Cage $1 million to bang Sarah Jessica Parker. Now, that's a good movie, Gregory.
I've never seen it. But even the concierge Tom, like that guy, he's probably one of my other.
Consigliere.
I'm sorry. I guess that's my. I'm going into my Polish. I forget all my Italian love. Like there wasn't a really bad flaw in that movie. That's why it was screwed out of being the number 1 spot. It was the number 2 ranked movie in the last 100 years.
I like your movie knowledge with that, but I'm going to show you some psycho knowledge I have, Greg. What year were you born, bud?
1991, my friend.
I was 12 years old that year, and I'll tell you this much. Number 1 song on the radio was Hush, Hush by Paul Abdul. Psycho, stat guy.
But you got me on that one.
You only get the fun facts here. Now, you know what? I like to take that side little detour, Greg, because I need to give people a glimpse and who are you? I always have to know, who are you? What do you do over there? I hear role playing and Grand Theft Auto servers,
and that's the fun thing about the whole. And I'm glad you kind of transitioned from the my fascination with the mafia to my obsession with playing this GTA role playing. I'm actually in the process of trying to be a mob boss in this server.
I know. All I'm saying
it's not going very well, but I'm working on it.
Let's not say anything on this podcast that could indict you once you start your real career in the real world as a mafia boss. Because I think that's probably what you'd really do.
I mean,
who wouldn't? Who wouldn't besides the murdering shit? Who would?
I mean, I would. All I want to do is be a mafia boss who just buys and sells weed. That's all I want to do. Is that much less?
Illegal marijuana trade will eventually be done here very shortly.
Yeah,
very shortly,
Yeah.
which is a great thing. But let's talk about fucking AE Dynamite show, man.
Woo!
Jeez.
Beautiful. It was such a good show.
I mean, jeez.
Well, I don't know if anyone's seen it. The ratings were released, and AEW crushed NXT this week. I think it was like 788K to 614K. Number 5 in the 18 to 49. And we will talk about someone who claims himself to be the demographic god.
Boy, I'm right. I went off on a rant. I went off on that same rant last week on what he was saying. And the genius of Chris Jericho is then taking all that and kind of phrasing the word demogod. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you this much. Sonny Kiss, good. Let me do this to you. Good job. Here's what I need. I need less tag team action from Sonny Kiss because the guy needs more ring time. He needs more singles ring time. His timing is a little bit off. I think he needs coached. Okay, you know what? The dancing, over the top cheerleader stuff and all the flamboyancy and the pageantry. Obviously, this is the best place for that kind of stuff, pro wrestling. And then I like how he kind of turns it off in the ring as far as attitude goes. I wish the movements, because I believe he really goes out of his way to accentuate his movements to make them almost like a dance to fit his style and his character. And I understand that. But I think that he needs to be able to shed some of that and kick some ass, because there was some moments where you saw the concrete rose.
Yes.
And here's the thing, and I know it's not Sonny Kiss's goal out there to get the white demo out there to like this gay character that he's portraying. At least I think that's what he's trying to portray. But I think, give or take, I love pageantry. So bring me any character you got. Goldust was fantastic back in the day. You couldn't wait to get it and see him get beat up. So give it to me all. But that little dichotomy of how it changed when he got in the ring and it got serious, give me more of that. Less flamboyancy in the ring and crack somebody a couple times with some of these moves and power and quickness that you have. Amazing strength leg, or the leg strength. Good show. Good show all around.
If you notice, Sonny Kiss got some thick ass thighs too. So
listen,
I got some Saquon Barkley thighs.
It's already been known on this channel, Greg, that I have come out and said that I'm a cisgendered straight male, and Sonny Kiss's ass. Jeez, did you see it? I made my wife look at it.
It's hard not to see it.
I said, "You look at that thing. Look at that.
Look at that."
Look at that. Josh, I said, hey, "Nice dick."
But no, Sonny Kiss definitely did have some ring rust. The one thing I can knock on her for that crossroads.
It was the first singles match. It was the first singles and first championship match. So.
He had a great match against Cody Rhodes. I think he put on a performance that no one expected Sonny Kiss to be able to put on for him. I actually knew. I did my research on a lot of the wrestlers. Sonny Kiss was someone I did my research on. I was like, this kid could be a star. And his gimmick's gonna, well, not really much. His personality is gonna gravitate towards a whole other community that's gonna love that. I was one of those people who was defending the fact that Sonny Kiss was getting a title shot, because I thought it was the right thing to do. Like, if they're going to put the open challenge out and he's going to accept it, well, why the fuck can you hate on it?
Well, we never.
And we all know that he's going to bring it all to the ring. He's got, he's even said it himself. He's never felt better than he ever did before, and he has everybody in the LBGTQ community to back him up, and it only lights that fire even more. And I think that is going to give a different demographic, not than just the 18 to 49, but also that
Well, you also have to watch that too, though. You can't play to a certain. If you want to play to a certain group or whatever, that's fine. But you always have to keep yourself open to inevitable heel turn. So you also don't want to be the hero to a certain gay community because we live in a world pro wrestling where I might be a fucking bad guy next month. So you have to really watch that stuff too. Just like with good guys doing all the charities and the Make a Wish shit. You can still do it, but can it hurt your character in the long run? You got to know the long term vision. But Sonny looks like a wrestler that still needs to be on Dynamite. I understand that there's an open challenge, but again, we miss all that story because there is none of that story. It's just a Twitter post. Sonny Kiss gets the title shot. It would have been great to see an interview. Anyway, wrap it up, Greg. Anything else you want to say about Cody, Sonny Kiss? And we got to hurry because we are running late here, boy.
Cody Rhodes never fails. I do like this heel action is going to go. I feel like if Arn Anderson isn't fucking with it, did you see Tully Blanchard in the stands all night?
Yes, I did. Oh God!
Before Horseman could be
anything.
And I already praised Sonny Kiss enough. I don't think I can say anything else. I'm proud of him. I think he did a great job, and I look forward, like you said, even seeing more. I want to see more singles action out of Sonny Kiss now.
Yep. Me too. FTR, great finish. I love that Luchas and the Butcher showed up in the truck. I like that. I like the end. First of all, I don't want to skip too much, but let's just say the match was phenomenal. We don't need to go in it, but you pretty much saw an ultimate clash of styles. Boy, FTR can't keep up with a fast luchador pace. I love that. You know what? I hate punches in wrestling. But FTR both can throw some amazing, believable punches, and I like it, and they can hit hard with them. I like that it's all punches and slams. What a great throwback tag team. I'm so glad I can enjoy them now instead of hating on them because they were in NXT.
You remember what they were specialized for.
Yeah, they were the throwback to the Brainbusters, the Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, those old tag teams.
I'm more so referring to their tagline, no flips, just fists.
Just fists. Yeah, and I remember that. But I love it, and boy, do I love that. I love the AEW, NWO, inspired fucking logo on the trunks. I love the Young Bucks at the end getting the keys back. The goddamn beer on Kenny's head. Mm-hmm. And that set the tone for Kenny Omega the rest of the night. Greg, what do you got to say about this match besides you loved it? I know you loved it.
Well, I love Lucha Bros. I love FTR. I think it will, like you even said at the beginning of the show, it was great to see the two styles clash because you got those no flips, just fist type of guy, and those guys who could just. I was watching Ray Phoenix do something. I believe it was All Out. He was on the middle rope to the top rope, and did a corkscrew backflip on a bunch of 6 people, and I'm just sitting there watching this. I'm like, why am I so amazed by how great this is? I know Grand Metalik may be the master of the ropes, but I don't think he has shit on Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix just ran off of the apron at one point and fucking straight up missile drop kicked. What did he miss? I don't know who Dax Shepard and Durwood Sherwood is. I don't need to know. One of the bald FTR guy, I think.
I think it's Dax.
The one that had the blood on him. Dax Harwood or whatever. And he straight up missile drop kicked him, and Ray hit him at maybe a 4 or 5 foot in the air, and it just drops to the ground and just rolls like nothing.
It was very interesting, and that's what makes Ray Phoenix so interesting of a wrestler to watch too, because he's giving you full on he's going to look like he's going to hit you, and he may look like realistically as a wrestler standpoint, he probably looks like he's probably just tapping. But he looks like he's putting so much force behind everything he does.
One of the greatest in the world. And boy, you know what else I love? I love the fact, because I say it for years, this is not Lucha Libre. If you wear that mask in an American ring, which I think they were still required to do, we don't have to respect the disqualification rule of taking the mask off. And you can always beat a luchador by trying to get that mask off. And perfect fucking finish. It shows a weakness. It shows a chink in that perfect, lucha armor of those two. And some major storytelling going on in the show. I loved it. The truck didn't start, though. Did you see him putting the keys in when they got the keys back? The truck doesn't start. And that's the problem with those old rebuilt fucking cars. And I know there's gearheads out there, but those old fucking cars, I don't care if you rebuilt them. They're all pieces of shit at the end of the day. You can't trust anything. Oh, I rebuilt this out of a fucking junkyard. I played that game. It's dumb. Go and spend $50,000 and get yourself a nice fucking sports car and beat everybody and get on the highway 120.
Bang, bang. Bang, bang, chicken
wing. Done with it, huh?
Bang, bang, chicken wing.
What was next here? What did we have next? Was it the Jericho segment?
I think it was the Jericho segment because it was right in the smack dab middle of the show for some odd reason.
Well, it was the beginning. It was the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. So that's important for ratings calculations. That's why Jericho spoke on that hour to go after that demo, the demograph, the demo. And that's why the demo god spoke there to make the point. Loved it. I looked deep into this segment, Greg. I looked really deep in it because that demo was the demo that won the Attitude Era. That was the wrestling. That was the demo that everybody wants. That's why Jericho can say he's never lost. When he was in WCW, he was winning that. When he jumped ship, WWE started winning. All right? Now he's in AEW winning it. The man is speaking correct, and he's speaking truth in the numbers. And I always believe in the numbers. But more importantly, what did Orange Cassidy do on to the inner circle at the end of that?
You're talking about as far as the end? Well, he did like his lazy thumbs up.
Yeah, but then
he did the thumbs down. And then what happens? You got Jericho spewing out some shit like, "What are you doing, Cassidy? All of a sudden, here comes all this orange juice on not just Chris Jericho's $9,000 suit jacket on a Santana
$1,000
and on to Senora Swagger.
So my point being is, when's the last time you've seen a giant amount of liquid dumped on somebody? What era of wrestling?
If I can remember properly, that would be the Attitude Era, if I'm not mistaken.
And if you want to, maybe DX dumped some shit on the McMahons in like 06, but I'm talking about dumping things was an Attitude Era, that demo, and that's why that was a deep callback segment. Mm-hmm. Jericho's trying to do some old school business. Here, kid, I'm gonna put you over. And let's not forget Ortiz. Fucking selling that juice, baby. He can't get up, and there ain't nobody that can pick him up. And you know what? Call it funny. Call it okay. Maybe a little pushing it too far, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really don't.
That guy in anything.
He oversells everything, and I love it.
Did you I don't know if you noticed this, but I always pay attention to him when he's doing promos, when he's in the ring or in the backstage.
Yeah, I stare at him all the time because he'll make cat faces. Yeah, he's funny.
He'll just do some weird shit. But I like the one segment where he had his flask. He took a sip of it. It's like, I don't know what it was. It was like, probably orange juice, but he's like, yeah, this is some good shit. And I don't know why, but I just I love it.
From the last week when he spilled the juice and Aubrey was like, what? And he's like, I don't know what happened. He can sell dedication to your character. That's all we're asking for. And if it's goofy, be the best goofy asshole you can ever be. And that's advice for anyone.
Those are the two. Those two may be the most goofiest people, maybe besides the Young Bucks. But the Young Bucks do their stuff more so on BTE, not so much on live TV.
But I want to let you talk about the next match because I know I blab and you never stop me. You got to sometimes just hit the buzzer on me and be like, shut the F up and let me talk.
Everything you say, I have to counter with. So I love everything you say. That's why I let the champion speak. But you're talking about the Kenny Omega. No, you're talking about the Elite versus the Jurassic Express. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Ooh, what a match.
And I'll let you go.
And these guys really did go at it the entire time. And Luchasaurus actually, to me, impressed me a little bit more this week than he has in recently. He really has. But the match was great. But the post match is where all the action happened. So at the end of the match,
before we get to that post match, I'll say this much.
Go ahead, say what you have to say because I want to get in the post match more than the actual match.
I said, "Oh shit." when I saw this match, and I said, we've been comparing Luchasaurus's kicks and his directly to the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and I'm like, oh shit, it's going to be so pronounced tonight that this is going to either make or break Jurassic Express. And I was really pulling for them and hoping, like, I don't want to see anybody, despite the fact that I hate Luchasaurus. I mean, I don't want to see the guy embarrassed. He's AEW and he's family, but but I will say this. He didn't look great. It was the best match I've seen him. His kicks are still, again, like that Sunny Kiss hesitation. Like, they just doubt themselves for 1 or 2 seconds where the Bucks, you know what I mean? And I just chalk that up to experience. They'll get better. But damn it, you can't put, like, when they're in the ring with the best, it really shows more. But damn if Jack Perry ain't a legit superstar. If the kid can develop a little more personality and let us get to know him other than that's Luke Perry's kid, or, if we could give this kid more mic time and just someone develop and work with him, he's going to be great. And I will even say this, and I hate his guts, Marco Stunt. I hate you, Marco Stunt. I hate you. But you had your best match, and that's a Canadian Destroyer where I thought you're going to kill one of my favorite wrestlers, and you pulled it off. And I don't know if I could do that. So, again, Marco Stunt. Right, the champ's a fair man, Greg. When I'm wrong, I admit it, and that's what no one does on this planet. Marco Stunt, good match. I hate you still. All right, and I would love to do to you what Kenny did. You know what, Greg? You tell it. I get too excited, and I'll break my microphone again.
So at the end of this match, we got Kenny Omega. He's doing and I thought he was actually going to give props to him because it's Marco Stunt. He pinned for the win. So he stands over.
Wait a minute. Pause. I love that you said that. But let's rewind to a little great storytelling by JR and Chris Jericho at the beginning of the match when they said, Jericho really called it down the middle too, and I loved his commentary.
He did say he was calling it down the middle.
Circle back. Another thing is Jericho noted Kenny was wearing his shirt. And he said, JR, I know Kenny Omega. I've known him for 3 years. If he's wearing a shirt in the ring, he is underestimating his opponents. And great arc as it to the point where he had to take that shirt off. You know what I mean? Because eventually shit had to get real. Mm-hmm. And what a great little little arc in the story. You know what I mean? A little chapter of goodness in that story nugget. And that played so well to the end because you still salty from the beer getting dumped on his head. All right, being the good guy like the Bucks want him to be, ain't working for him. So what does he do, Greg?
So he goes ahead after the win. He's over Marco Stunt when you think that he's actually going to hey, Marco, good match. He ends up doing this weird hand gesture. And right after he does that, starts wailing on Marco Stunt. And that led to, I think, what everyone wants, a little bit of a heel turn, Kenny. We want the cleaner back. I was cool with either or. I'm going to cheer for Kenny no matter what. And
I'm going to cheer for Kenny, but I'm going to cheer for Kenny no matter what. But you know what, Kenny? Here's the things that Kenny Omega wasn't this Kenny Omega that brought us all to the table to support him 100%. He was the first heel that could back shit up. And maybe was the first heel that could be the best effing wrestler in the world, maybe. I like that Kenny, wherein you don't really attack other boys and other federations, I like that Kenny does. I like that he still does. You know what I mean? He'll still attack NXT guys, and he hasn't lately, but I like that attitude. Don't lose that attitude, and that's what made the Elite the Elite. And I think that's something the Bucks have lost. Cody lost. They all lost. And I think Hangman knows it, and I think Hangman, Cody are realizing it, and I'd love to see Kenny and then just say, hey, here's 3 of us. Hey, old Tully, you got anything for us? Because
Sean Spears and boom.
And Sean Spears, goddamn, give that kid a chance. Let him do something other than being a goofy, taking goofy losses. Man. Speaking of a pop, and these two ladies, one of my favorites,
Pop,
two of my
pop, pop,
favorites that
pop,
we don't
pop.
see enough, and we don't see them in action enough. Brandy and Allie, and I've been wanting to see Allie since she announced last summer she was coming to AEW. Let this girl wrestle, please, because she's not the best yet, but she can be.
She's not
And
bad.
my God, having a Rhodes or having QT, QT's big time trainer, dude. He knows his pro wrestling. He's just his character on TV's the rookie. You know what I mean? But he's a real dude, man. He's good, and he's been around since the beginning. And I think rubbing elbows with Dustin, these two, gives him a story, gives him a place. We can forgive a few wipe the slate cleans with stories that have failed. That happens when we're up and running in wrestling, but I love these two. I think they're beautiful women. They're charisma. They're believable in the ring, and they don't have many flaws. Let's ratchet that timing up. And boy,
I agree with that
good things
100%.
coming, man. Good things.
Well, I'm always a little subtle to Allie because first off, I have a huge crush on Allie. I think she's probably one of the more attractive women in AEW.
Oh my God! And I prefer the Demon Bunny. I like the Demon Bunny gimmick.
I like the Demon Bunny too.
And I thought we were going to get that with Butcher and the Blade, and now we just scrapped that again.
Hooking her with Brandy, it's going to lead to a really cool turn at one point in time because eventually QT is going to turn on Dustin. And it's all gonna come together, and it's probably gonna lead to a mixed tag team match at one point in time, which I'm not subjective to seeing. So it was a decent match. I mean, you knew they're gonna go against two jobbers that lose almost every other week, so you knew they were gonna win. But
we gotta have squash. Jobbers are a very important part of the business.
It was neat to see those two getting a little bit better in the ring, although there was a blind tag towards the end that Brandy had to get the dub, but that's neither here or there either. And I mean, it was a good match though for being a women's tag team match. I was intrigued by it.
Yeah, and a little bit of story at the end. She wanted her hand raised. Dustin was reluctant to do that. So okay, good. Just give me something give us something to just discuss. Give me something a little nibble there. Just a little nibbling, Greggs. I just want to nibble.
Little salt base.
Boy, your girl's up next. Cutting a promo. Introduces a new manager, Nyla, with Vicky, MF, and Guerrero.
I did want to say that this is someone who I think last week when I was talking about this, I thought was going to be the manager, but I didn't have the balls to say it live on screen.
She's okay. I think it's around.
I think it's a good move for Nyla. I still hate her guts. I think she's still one of the worst women wrestlers in AEW. But I think having Vicky Guerrero is going to make it at least a little bit more interesting to me to watch her matches. So Sheeta versus Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero. All right, I'll give it another go.
The pedigree alone of Vicky Guerrero, we all know who she is and where she comes from. And I tell you what, I feel a little bit closer to Vicky, having recently watched those. I watched that wrestling documentary that's on Netflix, The Dark Side of the Ring or something.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, and I watched the Benoit one, and boy, wow. And just looking at Vicky different, for having to have been such a close part and all that shit.
Very cool.
I just, what, Vicky, glad you're here with us. You always have, you always have a home hopefully here. And give Nyla. And I don't think Nyla, of her problems, I don't think speaking was one of them.
No, ring ability.
Yeah, I think that I think here's what needs to happen to Nyla Rose. Nyla fights online with the constant problems with her transgendered, orientation, and I think that that's a big stigma on why people don't like her as well. So my thing is, let's lean into this story. Let's lean into this story, and make that's such a big part of this person. And not being accepted is maybe that's why you people don't like me or don't support me. Lean into a little bit, and maybe call some fans some bigots and people like, whoa, no, we hate you for these reasons. You know what I mean? I think there's a tasteful way to do it, and also still send out, that message because you can't book Nyla like a coward. Again, this is what I was telling you earlier. It's hard to have people supporting these, being you can't be a representative of a group and then let your group down. Nyla's a heel.
Yeah.
So right now, I don't know if she's if her goal is to motivate people to be inspired to do things. She's doing it in a very insider way that not all people that watch wrestling are aware of, okay, of the struggle she's facing. So let's take that a little bit to the TV, and I think, my goodness. But, I don't know if that Turner would want to, you know what I mean? Like, that's stuff you would be controversial, but I think it would make people go, wow, do I just hate her for that? And if not, maybe I should give her a chance. And then we need to give her some squash matches because we have to hide her flaws in the ring. And she's a monster. Again, you don't work a monster like a luchador. And that's the problem with Nyla right now. Vicky, I think is a step in the right direction. Maybe not the direction Nyla needed right now, but it's a step towards positive.
It's
right?
just the fact it's just so hard to watch her in a ring because she doesn't move quick. She's not. It doesn't seem like she's doing anything. She's doing the idea that she's going out to hurt somebody.
Yeah,
but she doesn't do a good enough job of it to me. I'm literally just bored of her. I'm tired of seeing her. I've seen her 2 weeks in a row, and it's just like a snooze fest.
Here's one thing that she does, and Taz still does it, and I think it's so tacky, is they do those promos where I'm going to rip your face off, and I'm going to smash your head in, and I'm going to rip your arms off. No, you're not, because you're not going to do any of that shit. It's what Moxley used to say, like his promos were stupid in WWE. Like, I'm not going to come down here and say I'm going to kill you because I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's not how real people talk. So, and then Taz will do that. And he gets, Brian Cage is he'll rip your head off. And it's what? Like, you stop, like, it sounds bad. It's stupid. Many ways to maim and defeat your opponent, but at the end of the day, it's a match. It's not a death match. Not every match is a death match. Or when we have to have death matches.
This is an early 2000 celebrity death match.
Yeah, when we want to go to a death match to elevate, like a ladder death match, we have to mean that then. Then this thing is unsanctioned and you might get hurt. Yeah. But normally I don't like people that kayfabe, and I think that was Nyla's problem. She's going to kill all these little girls. And everyone goes, geez, don't you just want to belt? And then the biggest thing that is going to be hard for her to recover, no matter what her performance is in the ring, is Rio beat you. Okay? Rio beat you. So we know speed can beat you, and you're not using your size to your advantage. That's the first thing people were. So we know that you can't. You're not going to beat Hikaru Shida. That little treasure. Yeah,
I think with how much hype you have around Shida, just to drop the belt to Nyla Rose, not even like after her second defense, third defense.
Yeah,
it'd just be stupid.
But Penelope Ford and I could see Penelope Ford later on with Nyla for a belt after Shida takes her run. But hey, you know what? But let's wrap it up with that last match. Mr. Taz led Brian Cage, the FTW
champion.
What does that mean? For the win?
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't really a Taz ECW unsanctioned FTW, but I remember him having something like that. But I always thought it was an ECW belt, which meant extremely crappy wrestling to the real people that were too sweet back in the 90s. But against Mr. Moxley. And we all know that, my feelings on Mox have been documented. You, being a lifelong fan of Dean Ambrose, you have a tattoo on your behind of him in the Shield. They're all three giving aren't all three of them giving the fists on your left butt cheek?
I do not have that.
Wait a minute, that was not to be. I'll cut that out. Don't worry.
That might have been Josh.
Yeah, I'll cut that out. Don't worry. I'll cut that out. A picture right here. Anyway, I'm just thinking of the Roy Orbison tattoo on what's his face's ass on Waterboy. That got me all messed up.
Is that the Fonz?
John Moxley. We know I feel about John Moxley. We know you love him. I'm warming to the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm starting to appreciate a Moxley, not a Dean Ambrose. And you know what? I like that he's never done that stupid little thing in the ring since he's come to AEW. He doesn't do it anymore because Vince every week that's what Dean Ambrose does. He does that thing. Good match. I like big pounding pounders. I like AJ Styles wrestles. My favorite is and John Cena. Oh, I know the surprise of the century, Jason Swinchuck, John Cena fan, because it's a little bit of Hogan in them. Those big booms, and when they do a move, it doesn't look like anybody else's. That's what I like. And Mox is starting to go into that era. And Brian Cage, wow, does some things and puts his own little twist on them. I love that shit, man. And those big just Hulk Hogan or Hollywood slams where they maybe just tweak it a little bit or do something different, you know? Love that shit. Week ending.
Yeah, I would say you expected it a little bit better.
Not post match. Week ending to that match. What do you think about it?
I wasn't too wild about it. I think I expected a little bit more, especially Dean Ambrose being off for about like maybe the last 3 or 4 weeks. I can't really say anything positive, but I can't even say anything negative about it. As far as the match is concerned, it was okay. I don't think it was the best John Moxley or best Brian Cage performance we were getting. I hope there's something else down the line for maybe the future.
I'm talking specifically with Taz throwing in the towel.
Yeah, I thought that was just the whole idea at the end was just dumb. I didn't like the finish, but
I don't know who that helps. Well, I know. Well, we'll talk about who it helps. But in this match with these two gentlemen, if Brian Cage can't beat Moxley, who can? So Mox is looking good from where, in a storyline wise, booked as a monster right now. So he's looking good.
But it's even making Cage look like a
little bit of a weak. It made Cage look weak a little bit.
Very weak. Well, it's like whenever they tried throwing the towel in for Cody Rhodes in that match, and everyone was like, "Dude, if you do that, you're gonna make that dude look like such a tool."
Yeah, and the towel shit. Here's the problem with throwing in the towel. We've never established an AEW rule that that's even a fucking thing. Because what if I don't have a representative at the ring? That I just die? No, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, the throwing in of the towel thing, I'll accept it, but we need some good rules with it. And I, you know what? 7 or 8 years ago, I ran on wrestling about WWE Tag Team Wrestling, and no one uses the ropes anymore. You'll always see TNA guys using those ropes because there are rules there, and that's what I like. So I don't know where the towel thing comes in and when and how it can be played, but it makes you look weak. I think Brian Cage is a guy that would let Mox rip his damn neck off or his head off just because he's so tough. He could let you dislocate his shoulder. That's how tough Brian Cage is. And I think he should have did the old Stone Cold pass out, or you break me up my arm and I come back with a cast next week, because that's how tough Brian Cage is. You win this match, but look, I'm here. And then do the lights out Darby Allin.
And there were a lot of people asking when Darby Allin was going to come back. He was reportedly, a couple days ago, was recorded to be in Jacksonville, but they said he was just being an extra. So this is a good little swerve for the fans out there.
Yeah, and I don't like loners, and I like that, like, there's like almost an unspoken connection between Darby Allin and John Moxley, because Darby was the first to answer his open challenge, when he first came after he beat Janela. He was like, who's tough? And Darby Allin. But Darby versus – my problem with the booking is Darby versus Cage. And I know we want to teach people that size isn't really important, but man, if I was a dude that spends 200 hours at the gym every week, I want to make a buck on this guy's physique while I'm at it, and I want to make a buck on this kid's skateboarding and death-defying antics. Well, I don't know if they're the right recipe together.
It's all going back to basically the whole like Taz Darby Allin storyline that they were trying to portray about maybe about a month ago. The thing is look, and you said it yourself.
Oh, you're right.
Size comparison.
No, you're right. That's it. Never mind. That's the link. I'm messed up. You're right. That's genius, Greg. That's it. You remembered. Taz went to Darby Allin first to be his man. Okay, so that makes sense.
And it's just kind of, it's going to be strange. You're going to have a David versus Goliath situation going on. And I think Brian Cage still fresh. You can't have him losing back to back.
No, yeah, and I don't want Darby. Yeah, and we can't get.
And you don't, and no one wants Darby to lose.
This is
so
what. See, this is the booking that they do, though, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I know better than them. But I'm just saying. I mean, if we're going to try to make sense of things, we've done way too many David versus Goliath. We just talked about Nyla and Rio. You know what I mean? And Marco Stunt anytime he's near the ring, like we do. Way too much of that, and I love that the stats are important and all that. But you know, when you're relying on this entertainment drama driven thing to feed those stats, it has to. If it's garbage in, you're going to get garbage out in your stats, and some of it is kind of garbage. You know,
I have to agree, and I don't think it's going to help either gentleman here because everyone's going to want to see Brian Cage be a monster, but nobody also wants to see Darby Allin lose. So it's going to put an indecisive fan base, in my opinion.
And Greg, you're the genius right there because I will tell you what, maybe that is the secret. We don't know, and none of us can see that finish. And we know either one has major implications. So maybe that is the genius behind that booking. And maybe we're just, hey, you know what? Maybe it's no more. There's no more safe times in AEW. You know, maybe it's not time to put up or shut up. You know, what I mean, I did kind of just woke me up a little bit when you said that.
And I think also maybe putting Darby Allin, if he happens to go over on Brian Cage, that's going to be good for his career because I think it's going to also allow him to probably get in a little bit of that TNT title picture now that he's back and he's healthy. And I think that's going to lead to, I think, what is it, the third match with Cody Rhodes? And I think he's going to take the belt from him. I really do.
I would like to see that, and I would like to see
you got to draw a loss
Cody on him. You know what I mean? And listen, I don't like skateboarders. You know what I mean? And he's the first skateboarder. I like Bam Margera, Tony Hawk, and Darby Allin, and my friend Rodney.
Chad Muska.
Don't know him.
He's my favorite. Tony Hawk Underground player.
Oh no!
Well,
I didn't. Underground was way past me. I'm like two as far as I went.
Tony Hawk 1.
Once Limp Bizkit was not on the soundtracks anymore, I faded out of them. You understand? I faded out of them. I grew out of them.
Yeah, we're done here.
Greg, we're gonna wrap this up. I personally think that was a great Dynamite, one of the best shows. The heel teases are exactly what a guy like me in that demo loves. I loved Chris Jericho getting orange juice dumped on him. Oh, I'm sorry. What else?
Well, don't leave out that during the Elite versus Jurassic Express match, we did have Hangman in the back with FTR having some beers watching the match too. So,
yes, and that's something that they teased last week too. Like maybe, but here's the thing now. I think Hangman and Kenny are going to come to some realization that they're closer than they ever thought. As far as like, you know what I mean? That's going to be where that story leads. It can't lead to a breakup. I feel that like, you know, Paige is going to have an understanding with Kenny, and you know what? Or maybe we don't fit in anymore, like he told the Bucks. Or maybe we're just not friends anymore.
Well, there's going to be a situation
and that's a part of life.
Hangman's looking to get in close to them, but they're also looking to screw over Hangman when it comes down to getting their chances at the tag team titles. But that's hey, you're here first.
All right. And, I want to give, thank you everybody out there for watching the show and giving it a like. But boy, damn, can I see just share the motherfucker one time, you cheap pricks.
Please.
It's not like we charge you anything to listen to this good free shit. And all I'm asking is to pay the Witcher a penance for toss the Witchers a coin, you cheap pricks. And just hit that share button. Also, I want to give a shout out to Jason McCloskey, old school gangster that goes way, way, way back with me to when Moses wore short pants. Dude has a couple successful businesses going for him, has a pizza shop, also wants us to do a venue at the PVGA at his shop once we get this Corona stuff, and always supports and shares everything. And don't think that I'll never forget that, Jace. You know what I mean? You do that shit for me, that's paying. And that's paid in blood with me, and I'll pay you back for that. So thank you, everybody. Find me at inertiaglobal.com or hashtag MKChampion. But make sure that A is a what, Greg?
A 4, baby.
All right, and then where can they find you creeping around these days?
Well,
On your role plans, on a role playing server.
They can find me in my GTA role playing. I'm going to be streaming over the weekend. I'm going to be doing a little bit of 2K, a little bit of role playing over the weekend. Catch me there on twitch.tv/theghost named Greg. You can follow me on Twitter at @theghost-named-Greg, Instagram @theghost-named-Greg, and also make sure you guys check out the Patreon.
And on Twitter, he's known as Fred. Just simply Fred.
Also, like I said, the Patreon is up. There's some pretty cool stuff on there. If you get it, depending on what you donate to us, there's a chance to get some merch. So yeah, it's popping off here at the Super Nine Bros channel. We're trying to get bigger. I've been working on it. So,
you know what I forgot to add to this week's list? We do have some game giveaways. Hey, we only have 18 people. You know, it's their job, Greg, to make it 36 people by next week.
If you guys want to get into these giveaways, keep this in, but make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe.
Yeah, please, for the love of God.
And please comment. I like to read the comments. Damn it!
Please just do that. Can we please? Greg said, "Please," one more time.
Please, all I want to do is read some comments.
All we want to do is feed our kids, for F's sakes. Let us earn.
I want to feed my comic book addiction.
Yeah.
We never know what's going to happen. But appreciate everyone.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. And Greg, you know what? Thank you for doing this show with me. You little rascal.
I appreciate it. Anytime coming from a bald asshole like you.
Yep, you're right.
Later. Much love, everybody. Later.